Now, I know everyone out there is currently posting about their 2023 luxury wish list, but here's the truth. I've decided to cancel my wish list for 2023, and here's why. Hello, and welcome to A Briefcase of Luxury. If you are new, I'm just a young-ish business professor sharing her thoughts on life, learning, and luxury. And I know it's a lot of fun to sit around and think about our luxury goals and luxury wish list for the year. And trust me, I definitely have an ever-growing wish list, including items from the year before that got bumped to this year. But a lot has been happening in the world and in my personal life that's just got me reconsidering my wish list. And those reasons can be broken down into two main categories. One is why I'm canceling my wish list overall, and the second is why I'm canceling some of the items on my wish list and saving the others for the future. So the first is easier to talk about, why I'm reconsidering having a wish list at all, and it comes down to two things. First, when I objectively look at my collection, there's nothing I need, and I will always say this over and over again, and maybe it's something I just need to remind myself, that there's no such thing as a luxury necessity. There will always be things that I want, but I am so beyond past the point of needs, and honestly, a lot of us are. No, I don't need another bag whose only function is to help me carry things from point A to B. I don't need a pair of shoes where I don't already currently have a pair that serves the same function. Plus, what's the point of having a second pair of dressy black boots when you can only wear one pair at a time? When I look at how luxury shopping has been prioritized in my life, I can honestly say that I prioritized it fairly high this past year. I felt like I was buying something every other week. And I wasn't the only one. My husband was too, and we just kind of fueled each other. Now, did we perhaps overspend a smidge? Yes, we did. Actually, to be honest, we overspent a lot. But now that I'm looking at my collection, I can say I at least did a fairly good job building a well-rounded collection to the point where anything else from here on out would be redundant. Does that mean I have no other bags I admire and would like to add? Absolutely not. I have an entire list of aspirational bags that I'd like to add, but I recognize that those aren't going to be prioritized this upcoming year. The next has more to do with looking at my finances objectively. You can say that one of the side effects of luxury shopping is that I've taken a much closer look at my personal finances, and in the process of setting up luxury shopping goals, I inadvertently had to set up financial goals as well. And this year, to be honest, is the time to gain and build wealth. And that's not just for me, but that's for everyone. I'm by no means a financial expert, and just because I'm a business professor doesn't mean I'm well versed in all aspects of business. But I think we can all agree that recessive periods in the market is when wealth is built. So yes, I have some major wealth building goals for this year to take advantage of this opportunity. And also, P.S., I'm not sure how many of you invest in some of the companies that we all love, like Hermes and Louis Vuitton, but if you have, then you'll know that they've been killing it at the moment. So if you have invested during times of their dips earlier last year like I did, then you're probably pretty happy looking at how well they're currently performing. I typically don't invest in individual stocks, but I did make an exception for Louis Vuitton and Hermes. But that kind of speaks to the second point. I definitely have some wealth building priorities this year that honestly require me to be extremely selective when it comes to my luxury wish list. And I would encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity as well to build your wealth. Buying that Hermes or Louis Vuitton bag may not be financially feasible, but you could consider buying their stocks, for instance. I know, there's that argument that certain bags do have great investment value, and I'll come back to that in a future video. And then there are also reasons why I am canceling individual items on my wish list after some more careful thought and reconsideration. Now keep in mind, the items on my wish list don't typically even make it onto my wish list until after several months of consideration and research. So for me to take them off means I've really weighed their pros and cons. And so I want to share with you some of the specific items that I've taken off my list, either permanently or just for this year, and the reasons why. So the first item is the Louis Vuitton day cap. I was also considering the touch cap as well in navy, but when I went to the store to try them both on, first, the quality of the day cap was honestly pretty abysmal. I've gotten higher quality ball caps for free on campus. Now, the bill of the cap felt like it was just made of really cheap cardboard and that it would tear if it ever got wet. And the material of the cap overall was just extremely scratchy. Now the touch cap in velvet and navy was gorgeous, and that velvet material was really soft and plush. But after trying it on several times at several different stores, it just seems like that cap is a dust magnet, and every one that I tried on was covered in dust, even when it was stored away and not on display. I mean, to the point where I think it would just drive me nuts. So even though I've taken both of those off my list, Louis Vuitton does have the touch cap in a pink, and that color is a nice muted lilac-y dusty pink. And I think because it's lighter in color, the dust just isn't that obvious. So instead of getting either the day cap or the touch cap in navy, the one in pink is now something that's tentatively on my list. If I ever go to the store again, I'll probably end up picking it up. The second item I took off the list was also from Louis Vuitton, and it is the Pochette Metis. And this bag has been on and off my wish list for years, and it's off the list again after more price increases and just after further consideration. I mean, I haven't bought anything in the monogram print in a long time, and years ago, I was originally considering the monogram print, but in the last few years, I've been really gravitating towards the empreinte leather instead, in either the black or the turtle dove, and I think I may have eventually pulled the trigger. But if I took a closer look at my closet today, that I have the Louis Vuitton Croisette bag in the damier azure print, and structurally the bags are very similar. Both of them have a crossbody strap, both have a top handle and a flap top with a clasp closure. So the one in turtle dove would definitely feel redundant in that light color print, but I could see myself arguing that the black would be different enough. But again, if I look at my current collection, I have recently added something similar. I'll keep it a surprise for now, but I'll be showing you what this is in an upcoming Coach collection. But regardless, now if the Pochette Metis ever comes out in that gorgeous cognac color that I've been seeing on some of the newer Speedies, then gosh, I may have to pull the trigger on that one and put it back on the list, but only if that happens. The third item I took off the list was the Chanel mini top handle in the brown color. Again, the reason is the same. I personally love a crossbody bag with a top handle. That's my all-time favorite bag structure, and if I'm not careful, that's what my entire closet would be filled with. But honestly, how many of those do I actually need? And if it serves the exact same functional design and aesthetic as the Louis Vuitton Croisette bag, then it's a bag I could just honestly admire from afar. So that's off the list for now until either I decide to sell the Croisette bag. But I personally am not someone who likes to sell anything I already have, because aside from just a handful of bags, all of these bags will lose value over time, so I'd rather just keep them and love them and use them. The next is more of an overall category, but it's luxury fashion jewelry. I'm usually pretty good about staying away from those to begin with because luxury fashion jewelry is just extremely marked up. But when I started to get into Hermes, trust me, I definitely had many of their fashion jewelry pieces just all over my list, even though I knew their prices were unequally marked up compared to some of their other items. I mean, I had their click bracelets on the list, I had certain pendants on the list, and if any of the stores had them when I went to them, then I probably would have bought them, but thankfully they didn't. So moving forward, I just don't think they're worth the money, and I would rather buy less pieces and aim for some of those fine jewelry pieces instead. From Hermes, for instance, I think the Farandole necklace is one that I think is very pretty, very minimalistic, easy to wear every day. And from Dior, I absolutely love their Rose Devon collection. I think it's absolutely designed. I can definitely see me getting one of their necklaces. And so that's another piece I've tried on several times at the store, and I'm just ready to pull the trigger on that. So if anything, those are the two pieces of jewelry that I have on my list. Now the next category is really difficult for me, but it has to be done. It's luxury drinkware or tableware. I know this sounds stupid, but I've been collecting mugs for years. I have more mugs than can fit in my kitchen cabinet. I love picking up mugs when I travel, and yes, they are the absolute worst, bulkiest souvenirs you can ever aspire to bring home. But when we lived in Europe, I would get multiple mugs a year, especially during Christmas at all the different Christmas markets we'd visit. So honestly, at this point in my life, I just physically have no room left for any mugs in my kitchen. And there's a bunch that's just boxed up in the basement right now. And so it's a hard thing to do, but no luxury drinkware, tableware, etc. for me this year. And I was really hoping to add some from Hermes. Dior and Versace also has some really beautiful mugs, but I just have to tell myself no. The rest of the items that I've taken off my 2023 wish list are from Hermes. I'm not sure when this video will post, but I do mention in my Hermes bag unboxing that for now, for 2023 at least, I'm putting my Hermes journey on hold, so to speak, which means my wish list at Hermes has shrunk drastically. The lucky belt was something I had on my list, but if I were to only buy one belt from Hermes this year, I'd want it to be the Kelly belt instead, for obvious reasons. Now, I already have multiple belts in my collection, belts that I can wear at my waist, at my hip, so if anything, the Kelly belt, and because it is adjustable, would make the most sense to leave on the list, while all other Hermes belts can wait. Now, the next category is a big one. It can't be that because I now own 5 different styles of Hermes bags. Again, not to give too much away in case this video posts before my Hermes bag unboxing video. I'm feeling pretty good about my collection from that standpoint. So there's actually a bunch of bags from Hermes that I've taken off my list. The Kelly To Go, for instance, was one that had been on the list for a very long time, and up until recently, I was still stalking the website for one since they were almost impossible to get from the store. But if I were to be honest with myself, that's a lot of money for a bag that size with very limited function. And again, if I were just to simply look through my collection, then I have both the Chanel wallet on chain and a Louis Vuitton epi-leather pochette that really structurally play the same role as the Kelly To Go. Also, do I want a Picotin 22 in a lighter color with gold hardware? Or another Her bag but in the coated canvas instead? Or how about another Birkin, but this time in the size 25 or 30? And the answer is yes, I do. But do I really need multiples of the same bag in my collection? Then not really. I'd have to build a new closet if I wanted to add that many more bags. So no, the Picotin, the Her bag, and the Birkin are officially off the list as well. So that being said, I do have several Hermes bags that are still on the list, but the way I've prioritized them means I probably won't get to them until the next year at the earliest. So in that case, no, I don't have any Hermes bags on my 2023 wish list. Now, the 2 bags that I do have on the list are not from Hermes, and again, these are 2 bags that I've had on my list for a while, and one is the Lady Dior in the size small, either in the color latte or hazelnut, and the other bag is from Fendi, and it is the Peekaboo Mini in beige. Again, I know these are top handle bags with a crossbody strap. Again, the colorways that I gravitate towards are lighter neutral colors, similar to the Pochette bag that I already have. And while I don't have aspirations to collect bags from every luxury brand out there, there is something appealing about having some of these classics in my collection. So time will tell if I pulled the trigger on these, but for now, they didn't make the cut for my wish list, so they are still on my wish list. So I won't say I'm on a no buy or a low buy year because my money is going to other places and purchases, and I still have items that I am going to seriously consider, but I have strategically shrank my wish list down substantially just because I don't want to prioritize shopping for luxury items this upcoming year. This not only frees up my money for other wealth building opportunities, but at the same time it will force me to shop from my own closet and collection and help me appreciate what I already have. I've been getting into this rhythm of switching out my work bags every month and switching out my regular going out bags every week, and it's been a lot of fun working through all the bags in a rotation, even bags I may not have normally reached for. And when I do finally get to them, I get reminded of why I bought them in the first place. I am the type of person that also dresses according to my bags, but by constantly rotating my bags, it also forces me to rotate my wardrobe. Again, this has really helped me to appreciate what I already have instead of looking for the next thing to buy. Now, I'm already living a life of abundance, and statistically speaking, many of you watching this video are as well. So an extra bag or an extra pair of shoes is not going to make a difference. So I'm going into 2023 with a lot more appreciation for the collection that I've already built. And if I haven't said this already, I'm wishing every single one of you an amazing 2023. I know it's not all going to be pretty, and the reality is either we or some of the people we know are going to be affected by everything going on in the economy and just around the world. And if that's the case, please just keep your head up and realize that you're not alone and that there are people out there rooting for you to succeed, including myself. So if you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to stick around, and I'll see you again next time.